London AIM and New York listed NASDAQ biotech company Tiziana Life Sciences is a clinical stage biotechnology company that specializes in the development of therapies for inflammatory diseases for cancer related to the liver. It's seen its share price rise more than fourfold in the last 4 months, most, if not all, that coming on the potential for Tiziana's TZLS 501 treatment, potentially useful for those with coronavirus-related complications. Dr. Kunwar Shilubhai is Chief Executive Officer and Chief Scientific Officer, and he joins us now on the line from Philadelphia. It's a pleasure to catch up with you. Thanks indeed very much, Shalu, for your time. I just want to go back, if I can, to talk a little bit about how the business was going pre-COVID, because the company was facing towards the liver and liver-associated diseases. Explain what you were trying to achieve in terms of your clinical progress.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's a pleasure to be with you. I must tell you that company Tiziana Life Sciences' pipeline is diversified, strong. It is cancer, autoimmune diseases, and inflammatory diseases. And then a new initiative is on COVID-19. The company has been performing very well for the last several months. And as you said, partly because of COVID, but more importantly, we reported phase 1 data from two antibody treatment, as well as phase 2 data for liver cancer. And I think that is where the excitement is coming from.
So what is it you are trying to achieve here on the liver side of the business? As I said, before we talk about COVID and your involvement in that sort of side of the business, what is it you're aiming to achieve with this phase 2 testing at the moment? Where are you along the path to getting something that the community can use?
The phase 2 data which we reported, and our approach is totally distinct, an innovative approach. And what we showed or publicly reported and also presented the data at American Society of Clinical Oncology, the data is very encouraging. And clinical response shows that our drug called Milchiclib is a broad spectrum compound inhibiting cell cycle. This compound is superior to the other existing therapies for hepatocellular carcinoma.
And my understanding is you own a number of patents around this. Is that correct?
Yes, total Tiziana Life Sciences has 256 patents covering composition of matter, manufacturing technology, disease indications, and Milchiclib is one of the assets. We have total 3 assets.
And is this an area of unmet need? Are there any competitors in this space?
So for liver cancer, yes, there are competitors in this space, but clinical responses have not been entirely satisfactory. The response rate is less than 20%. That brings a question, what happens to 80% of the patients who are not responders? And that is where we believe there is still a good need for another compound that can increase the response rate.
I want to show a price chart, if I can, for Tiziana Life Sciences. Now, this is the London listed share. As I said, you're also listed on the NASDAQ. It's interesting, actually, you've recently risen to levels not seen since October last year. As I said, there was almost a fourfold, or I think around about a fourfold increase in your shares. We're currently trading at around about £1 or £1.03 here in London on the AIM markets. You've seen this big rise in the shares recently. I want to return, if I can, to what I said at the top about this transforming event that we've had over the last 3 or 4 months or so. How are you expecting the company to be able to participate in finding a way through to help us as a global community combat and deal with coronavirus and COVID-19?
So yes, you are absolutely right that our stock has been performing, and COVID-19 treatment, the new initiative, is a factor. But besides this, we've reported clinical data from oral administration as well as nasal administration of furalumab, which is one of a kind. We are the first one to do so, very innovative approach. And our approach is to deliver antibody where action is needed. And that is exactly what we are doing in COVID-19 as well. So as you know, the virus grows in lungs. That is where it proliferates and produces hyperinflammation, resulting in production of IL-6. IL-6 is a cytokine which causes respiratory failure, resulting in death. So far, all antibodies by Actemra or Roche antibody or Sanofi antibodies through intravenous. You can treat patients with intravenous injection, but drug reaches a small amount of drug reaches in the lung. Our approach, and we are the first one to deliver antibody directly in lung through nebulizer or inhaler. And concept is, in lung, you have the virus. In lung, you have IL-6. So by providing antibody directly in lung, should be able to remove IL-6 and provide relief to COVID-19 patient immediately.
What do you see as the potential for this drug, assuming it gets through the hurdles of approval? What is the market for this? How big is the market? Do we yet know?
We don't know the market for COVID-19. But the way we are seeing this virus is different, very clever virus. Who knows how long it's going to be with us? So as a scientist, my goal is to be able to develop something to provide relief. But COVID-19 is one of the disease indication that we are going after. Another disease indication is ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, which is related to COVID-19. So this drug could be useful for that as well. And that still remains unmet medical need.
Are you hiring new staff to deal with this new era or area of interest and this new era, or are you using your staff on your existing or your the liver side of the business? Are you shifting staff over?
So my staff in R&D are all biochemists, scientists. So they are used to these diseases. And yes, as we are expanding in different initiatives, we are hiring as well.
You've got a market capitalization. We're talking here, this is sterling, I think, at 170 million. You've just raised $10 million, I believe. Is that right? So the balance sheet is quite well cashed up at the moment. How long is that cash going to last? What are you telling investors about where the company's going and the cash burn rate that you've got?
The two things I must emphasize here, that our market cap is less than 200, but we have 4 assets going into clinical. Our market cap should be much higher, so it's undervalued. Number 2, we have about 10 millions, and that should take us to second quarter of 2021, when we will report major catalysts, phase 2 data with foralumab oral administration in Crohn's disease, phase 2 data with nasal administration in progressive MS, and then we will also start the trial with COVID-19. So these would be the major catalysts. We don't need to raise any money till second quarter of 2021. And that is when I expect there would be inflection point for our stock performance.
Let's talk a little bit as well about the road to that point and where you expect the company, the milestones you expect the company to achieve. What do you see as the major signposts for investors to watch out for to check that you are moving in the right direction, the right speed?
So Crohn's disease is a deadly disease, and it is right now treated with Humira. It's an antibody given intravenously. And that asset is fetching $6.2 billion annual revenue. Patent is expiring for Humira. Our approach is give antibody directly through oral route. It travels down the GI tract, provide anti-inflammatory effect to gut inflammation, and that is a concept is new, but it is already validated by third-party researcher. So that is going to be, I believe, a major catalyst. And second thing is nasal administration of foralumab for treatment of progressive MS, or progressive multiple sclerosis, totally unmet medical need and huge market. and we would be reporting phase 2 data. Both of these phase 1 trial we have already reported, and data showed that our approach seems to be working. It is completely safe. So I believe these two catalysts would transform the company.
Yeah, well, we look forward to hearing more. And look, thank you so much indeed for your time. I know you're a very busy man, and you must obviously have to take time out of your day to do these sort of things. But we do appreciate your time and to get down to talk about the company with us. Dr. Kunwar Shilubhai is Chief Executive and Chief Scientific Officer of Tiziana Life Sciences.